I'd like to start off today, and I want to tell a little story, maybe a little joke. So I went to Hill Station Baptist Church growing up here in Goshen. If you don't know where that is, you basically turn left out of Goshen Road, head out towards Hill Station. You take the curve to the left and go down the hill, and it's the little church here up on the right, top of the hill. And so there was these two guys, and they weren't real good people, two brothers. And they were known around town as being kind of nasty and always not real good to other people. And one of these brothers passed away. And so when the other brother went to the funeral home and saw the minister, he says, "Hey, I know he wasn't real good, but I want you to say some positive things about my brother. When people come here, I want you to say some positive things." So the pastor's like, "Wow." He's trying to think of some things to say. And so the day of the funeral, pastor gets up and he says, "Well, as we all know, old Mr. Johnson here, he just wasn't a very good person. We all know he lied. We all know he cheated. We all know that he never did anything right, good to people." And the brother looks and says, "Man, what's he doing?" And then he goes, "But we also know that he made his other brother look like a saint." Y'all didn't think I was funny, did you? I thought it was a good, clean joke. So anyways, I go back to my little story. So I went to Hill Station Baptist Church down the hill and up on the top of the hill there. And it was kind of a neat place because, growing up here in Goshen, you don't have a whole lot of things to do, or you had a lot of things to do, but you need to find some positive things to do. And so when you surround yourself with positive people, you tend to do better things. And so I think the message that I want to proclamate to you today is surrounding yourself with good people, because that's part of being successful. You see, I can talk about the group of people who I grew up with, because in that church, we had a youth group. And I know there's a lot of kids here now who kind of relate to what I'm talking about. There was probably about 9 or 10 of us that went through youth group together, go through school together, end up graduating, and today I still see some of those people around Goshen. And that's kind of a neat thing. And the neat thing is that you get to see now, I get to see the things that they went out and did with their lives. I get to see what their kids are doing. I get to experience some of those times that we talked about as kids, as the things we wanted to be and what we wanted to do. And here we are, 25 years later, doing those things. Well, what happened? Why were a group of those kids successful? What was it that separated us from other people? One of those things was exactly that. Is that there are times in my life that I will tell you that I had to make some decisions. One of the things that early on is I can remember I was a sophomore in high school. And that's about the age where we started to go out and, start dating and things like that. And I experienced some of the people who I ran with. They wanted to go and get beer, and they wanted to go and drink that Mad Dog and other, just different things. And, that was not my thing. I was not, I didn't even know what that stuff was. I didn't know what it was. And so I had to make some decisions when I'm out in that car my sophomore year. And as we're going down the road, hear my buddy in the back says, "Hey, look what I got." And I'm like, well, I don't know if I want to do this or not. You know, I won't get in trouble. And so, right at that moment, you got a decision to make. And everyone will cross these roads. And for me in that moment, it was about being with some people who I really cared about, with some buddies who I wanted to like me, and now I had to make a decision. Now you got to make a decision about yourself and how you want to be treated, how you want yourself to look, how you want people to look at you, and what type of person you want to be. What are your goals? And I'm telling you, I won't tell you what I did that night. I won't tell you what transpired. But I will tell you this, that when you see people who knew me back when I was in high school, you can ask them, did Nick and Inabnitt do drugs? Did Nick and Inabnitt drink alcohol? Was Nick and Inabnitt at those parties? And they'll tell you, Nick and Inabnitt did not associate himself with those things. And I don't know why. I can't tell you why outside of the fact that I had bigger plans. I always saw myself as someone that was going somewhere different. I chose a better path. I had to say, look, I'm not drinking that Mad Dog. What's wrong with you, you big sissy? Were you better than us? You're going to have people who are close to you who are going to put that peer pressure on you. Well, why don't you do that? And you got to have a game plan. Your game plan should start before you get to that moment. What type of person do you want to be? Surrounding yourself with people who will do positive things. You see, on that night, who I thought I was running with were people who had the same ideas and wanted to go to the same places that I wanted to go. Because I told you, I wanted to be in the NFL. I told you what my goal was, and everything I did was going to go towards that goal. Obviously, these people who I was in this car with, that was not their goal. I'll tell you, to this day, I see some of those people I was in that car with. They're still around. We're still buddies. But when they look at Nick and Inabnitt, they know the character of Nick and Inabnitt based on my decisions on that night. You surround yourself with good people. When you surround yourself with good people, good things can happen. So, fast forward. So when I was a senior, I was being recruited by a bunch of colleges. So one of those colleges was Virginia Tech. And when I was a junior in high school, Virginia Tech offered me a full scholarship right at the end of my junior year of football. Coach Clark called me and said, call me at the house, standing in my kitchen. Says, Nick, we want you to be a Hokie. We think you got what it takes to make our football program better. We want to offer you a full scholarship. Holy cow, it's my first offer. I don't know what to say, except for, yeah, I'll take it. Right away, I was a Hokie. Came to school the next day, told my football coach, told everybody I knew. decided to play basketball. Surrounding yourself with the right people, making good decisions. So I played basketball, and I wasn't a good basketball player, but I was good enough to get out there and make the team better. So what happened? Well, I'll tell you that Virginia Tech came and watched me play football, or watched me play basketball. It's my first basketball game in high school, and we were playing Turpin. And it was an exhibition game. And so they came out. Coach Rise, football coach at the time, and my parents, and the Virginia Tech coaches were all in the stands watching me play basketball. And boy, was I nervous. Whew. Man, I tell you, Coach Moeller put me out there, and I took the ball, dribbled right off my foot. About the first 5 seconds I was in the game. Next time down the court, I get the ball. I should probably not the guy that should have shot the ball, but I took the shot, hit the side of the backboard. Oh boy. The guy I was guarding went right down, and I think he basically slammed it right in my face. So, the game did not go very well for Nick Inabnitt. Next morning, come to the school, go to put my school jacket in my locker. Open up the locker door, and inside my locker was a postcard. It was a postcard from Virginia Tech. Oh, what's this? So I looked at the postcard, and it said, "Dear Nick, we will no longer be recruiting you for Virginia Tech. We wish you well. And just so you know, there's a very fine line between those we recruit and those we do not." I lost my scholarship. One game. One moment. Life changed. Now what I'm going to tell you is that you surround yourself with good people for a reason. Because at that moment, I probably know a lot of people who would have just tanked it. I probably know a lot of people who would have said, "I quit. I give up. This is not right. How can you treat somebody that way? How can you offer a kid a scholarship, get them all excited, and then you take that scholarship away? How can, life is unfair." Well, you know what? Life is unfair. I learned that right then. Whoever told you life is fair did not tell you the truth. Life is not fair. So you better toughen up. You better get some mental toughness, that Goshen grit, that never give up attitude. Those things are true. Because at that moment, I had a decision to make. And I'm telling you, you all know what I did. I didn't quit. My feelings were hurt. I was upset. But I didn't quit. That was my junior year. I had a whole other year of sports to play and to prove myself. You surround yourself with good people. You see, the people who I surrounded myself with, my friends, my peers, Nick, get your head up. Nick, get out here. Let's go. Let's go run that hill. Let's go lift weights. Nick, get in Miss Monster's class. We got this speech to do. It was about being better. I surrounded myself with friends who, one, cared about me and didn't want me to be unsuccessful. Two, they had some of the same goals I did. So if you're hanging out with people who all their goals are in life is to get high, is to get drunk, and live for that weekend party, you're going to be right there with them. If you're surrounding yourself with people who see themselves as being a little bit better, who see themselves reaching for those heights, who are taking those chances to be doctors, taking those chances to be lawyers, taking those chances to be engineers, now you're setting yourself up with those right people. My head football coach in college used to say, he used to read us this poem, and I can't even recite it to you. It was probably 3 pages long. But I can tell you the last words of the poem, because that's the most powerful thing. And here's what it says. And it's a story about a man and a pig, about how this pig was successful. And then how this man became successful. And how this man went on and big businessman, became very wealthy. And then it talked about his downslide. It talked about how he gained all this wealth and how it changed his attitude, how it changed his perception, how it changed the people that he hung with. And the last sentence goes like this. It says, you can tell a man who boozes by the company he chooses. And the pig slowly got up and walked away. So they're laying in the gutter. That's where the man ends up, because he done drank his life away, made all those bad choices, and the only thing left for him was that pig. But not even the pig wanted to be with him. And so, it's choices. It's choices. And you all got choices. Who's been in the guidance office lately? Who's noticed the big writing they got on the wall in there? Anybody read that? If you haven't, I'll tell you. If you get a chance, stop in the guidance office. I'm not sure what the student's name is who made it. Samantha Collins. So Samantha Collins, I think she's a junior. So this is what Samantha did. She took and she put a nice motivational quote on the guidance. And I've been in there a couple times to read this. And I think it's a great message. And I think it's a great message to the youth. And I think it's a good message for myself. And the message is this. You're talented. Everyone in here is a genius. Everybody's a genius that's in this room. The problem is, we measure some people on some of the things they're not good at. We don't judge a monkey by how well it swims. And we don't judge a fish on how well it climbs a tree. If we did, they would look idiots. But a fish is a genius at swimming. A monkey's a genius at climbing. You're a genius at something. There's something you are good at, that you're better than anybody else. And sometimes it's just being you. And you want that to be the best version of you. When you walk in the guidance office, the little girl wrote a little saying. There are people who are better athletes. There are people who are better students. There are people who are better looking. So what's your strength? Here, you can control how you treat people. You can control your attitude. You can control the decisions that you make. And what you'll find in life, when you put enough of those good decisions together, back to back, you are a person of high character, you'll be a person of success, and you'll be a person that's content with yourself. You won't look back and say, I wish I could have, or I wish I didn't have. Again, surround yourself with good people. Goshen High School. It's a blue ribbon school. You already know. Great students, good parents, but you know what else we got here that's pretty good? Teachers. Now, Mr. Knapp, this is not the only school I've ever been in. I've got to have the opportunity to work at other different schools. So I know a good staff when I see a good staff. One of the reasons why we're blue ribbon is because we have surrounded ourselves with some good people, some good teachers. And that's a direct byproduct of that. You going on to college and being successful is carrying on that tradition. You're going to be a byproduct of being around good people. That's important. So I want you to remember, as you go on to college and after high school and the things that you do, if you find yourself in a situation, look around. Look around yourself. Did you surround yourself with good people? Folks, I am Nick Inabnitt, the high school principal, and I thank you for your attention. Thank you very much. All right, at this time,